Good to see you guys, and it's always a lot better when you win, right, Ralph? We've had a few of those days, both ways, and we know the difference, and appreciate the difference very much so. And I don't know what kind of crowd we had, but it was probably an enjoyable game to watch. The thing that was stuck out for me most as a coach was the fact we did not turn it over. We got 3 turnovers. Our average starting point was somewhere around the 50-yard line after every possession, and our punter averaged 43.5 or almost 44 yards. So there's a lot, and I talked to the team about this yesterday. There's a lot of hidden yardage that people never consider. And all that pooching and all that stuff that they have to do because of number 16, ain't nobody thought about it. But, it's good stuff, and it's good for really great football fans to understand some of the things that go on. And, there were some good things that went on for us. Certainly no turnovers and low penalties. I think we had 3 penalties. Ralph, you got that number anywhere over there? Three or so. Our kids are trying to be conscious of, how they approach and how they engage defenders, and the holding and drive stopping type penalties kill you. We had 1, I think. And so many good things happen. I hope we can carry it forward for this team for the next couple of games, because I think we'll need to be the same way in Idaho, and certainly against ULL too at home. So, I'm really proud of the team. It was a very enjoyable win. Trent Miles is a friend, and I know he is struggling, and they've been so close before. Actually beat Abilene by about the same amount Abilene beat us early in the year, and I got to watch part of that game when they played them. But Trent Miles and his offensive guy Jagodinski, all those guys are good coaches, and the Georgia State's sitting there in a pretty fertile ground as far as high school recruits, and I'm sure they'll do well as they establish themselves and get their numbers, quality numbers up, and because they know what they're doing. And in the same breath, I will say that these people we're going to face this week do too. And certainly, Coach Petrino, Paul is he's been at a lot of different levels and been successful. And what I see on tape with him is the same kind of thing that we've seen at Arkansas, and same kind of thing we've seen at Western Kentucky. Prolific offenses, and you got to understand that they're going to stress you as best they can with their passing game, and try to get you to over adjust and then run the football. And they're very well coached and very well schemed. So we'll have to not only deal with a long trip and I don't know what else after we get out there, snow, and I'm trying to figure out a way to go view the building that we're going to play in, and it's 50 miles away, and it's probably going to be snow on the ground, and so that was what I was hoping to do Friday. I'm not sure we'll get that done, so but we'll hopefully be blessed with good weather and not have any problems as far as traversing back and forth, if that's a good word, to Moscow to play. So, questions?
Talk about how they have prolific offense, big passing game. This defense had a huge game. A lot of these younger guys stepped up in places to keep people out. How big was that game when heading into a game with prolific offense?
Well, I mean, any time you have a little success, it breeds success, in my opinion. And we did have a bunch of guys, and even Tyler Roberts played, and I think he's okay after the game. But a lot of guys rushing the passer, and we got some sacks, we got some turnovers. tackles for loss on the run, defeating a blocker and making a play, and and we played a lot of people. Of course, we've had to play a lot of people because of injury. With Mark out at middle linebacker, and of course Tyler being out and at the defensive end position, and some other guys that are struggling with injuries that are just mending during the week and playing on game day, and and we'll have that same type of situation this week in some cases, not nearly probably as serious as we've had in the past. But we have had some guys step up to the plate and accept the challenge of basically doing their job, playing within the defensive structure and making plays. There's a lot of guys that can do the first two that can't do the third one, and because of ability. And sometimes you got to deal with that and live with that, and just hope a guy is going to shore up his spot and force the issue for someone else to be able to make the play if he can't. So I think we got better. Hopefully we got better, and hopefully we'll prepare well this week. We got a little bit of a filed up week with Monday's our off day. We worked yesterday, and then tomorrow is a holiday, and everybody else will be, there won't be much action going on around here, I don't think. But and then we got to travel on Thursday at 2:00. So, that don't leave a lot of hours to prepare and practice. And so, one bad thing about being across the country from each other. So here we go, and they've had to make trips, and now we got to make one. But those things you mentioned are positive for our defense, I think.
The forecast looked it up for Saturday is a high of 29, low of 17. You already talked about snow, but does it make you happy that you get to play in a dome out there?
It's huge. That's huge, man. We've had one experience where we played on the frozen tundra in Montana. Not a very good experience, but and they, believe it or not, they put turf down. Can you believe that? I'd have kept that darn old grass out there and played on it forever, because it was a distinct advantage for them. You could tell they knew how to go about playing a football on a frozen surface, and but I'm glad we're in a building. I'm glad. I don't know how high it is, how wide it is, or how many it'll hold. I'm sure it's going to be loud, and that's something you got to talk about and deal with. It shouldn't be a problem for us because of how we approach offense, and so we'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to deal with it.
Does this type of trip really affect the game? I mean, you guys make trips to this length normally. I mean, do you really think it plays much of a factor into the game?
Well, I think it might if you try to get out there and play within a 24-hour span. Our administration's allowed us to go out a day early and try to, quote, get our feet on the ground and acclimated a little bit. Our biggest problem will be probably, and we're not going to be outside much, so, what you wear, around when it's 29 degrees, or whatever it's going to be. Is that what you said it's going to be?
Till Saturday it's high.
Yeah, that's good. I hope the heater's working in the building, and I would say we would be at a disadvantage if we had to deal with the weather as players. But as far as folks just getting back and forth to the place we're going to play, I don't think we're disadvantaged by that, except distance and that kind of thing. But hopefully we won't let that bother us, and we'll move on and play our best.
Coach, you moved to third all time. It might be a boring question to you because I'm sure you've had to answer it since Saturday. Just talk about the feeling of moving past, as you call it, Coach Sturgeon's mentor before.
Yeah. Well, I didn't bring that up to our players, and I didn't really know it was the 100th opportunity to win a game here until after the game. But you know, I don't talk a lot about records, especially personal ones, and from a standpoint, it's a tremendous honor to be mentioned in the same breath with Ralph Shug Jordan, whether it's below him, tied with him, or above him. You know, which now we're one win. Our total wins here in 24 years, or one more than Coach had, and you know, he was a great man. He was a smart man, very eloquent man, and he was a war hero. And you know, there's a lot of things that heck, he coached basketball and baseball and football, I believe, at Auburn, and of course I got in on the tail end of Coach Jordan's career, really, and got to know him pretty well because you know I was still in town finishing school when he got sick, and but he was a really special person, and you know, it's an honor for me to be like mentioned because of these numbers that we talk about.
Some of the things that you picked up from him that you still carry today as a coach and kind of pass along?
Well, you know, I think part of my personality I picked up from Coach Jordan as to how he treated people. And he, you know, back then, kids were different. We were different than the kids that we're dealing with today are. And so we presented ourselves differently to the adults. But he always treated us like men. And, you know, the kids today need a different type of relationship, I think, which I did learn from Coach Jordan I think I learned it from him and maybe Tommy White, my high school coach, that you try to furnish whatever is needed to make the young man or whomever feel good about themselves and the relationship they have with you. So I think if anything, I picked that up. You know, he was like I said, he was a well-educated person, and he could. I mean, he was so eloquent as to how he dealt with people verbally, and it was amazing how he could remember everybody's name. And I always accused him of having the best secretary in the world, furnishing names, calling, you know, here comes Blakeney. But you know, he was something. And the thing that I want to really qualify him with is he coached across the state from probably the greatest coach ever to coach the game. And he still won his share of games head to head, and he still won the number of games to be where he is in the record books today. So, pretty good job.